Welcome back to 556 Media. I'm just doing a short video to explain my ATV brush fire setup. So let's get on with that. All right, so obviously my ATV setup, and this is a Polaris Sportsman 570 EFI. It's a pretty decent ATV. It's pretty big. Obviously, have the plow package, some other things. I got a tilt dump bed on the back. It's automatic, of course. A lot of storage up front, a lot of storage in back, and there's storage underneath the seat. But let's get into why we're making this video. All right, the whole point of this video is about fire protection. And yes, this particular ATV is used for different things, but let's talk about the fire protection part. And yes, the plow in the front can play a part in it, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about our little brush fire unit or wildfire unit, whatever you want to call it. This is a 12 volt water pump, 12 volt water pump, and there is a plug, a 12 volt plug on the ATV up front. You can actually plug it in and drive the ATV while you're using the hose, the fire hose, and the water to attack the fire. But anyway, so it comes with about, I don't know, I think it's like 15 feet of hose. Uses basically a standard garden hose nozzle. You can put whatever you want on there. I just keep it stored like this. It's just easier. It does deploy quickly. I know it looks like a mess. It looks like spaghetti, but it's actually not. This hose is pretty cool. Hooked directly to, we got the pump hooked directly to power, and the pump is hooked directly into a 5-gallon tank of water. And right next to that 5-gallon tank of water is another 5-gallon tank of water. So there's one of two options here. You can either switch the line into this if this one runs low or runs out, just switch the line into this 5-gallon, or if you have enough time, just take this 5-gallons of water and dump it into that one. Up to you. Whatever your preference. My preference would be I just switch the hose line into this 5-gallon. So as you can see, it's pretty well secured. I use bungee cords. Over the years, I've done this and used it. It hasn't budged. It hasn't failed. Also, I do keep a small dry chem extinguisher in the bed of the ATV, and that's for, I don't know, the ATV catches fire. There's something else that water won't necessarily work on right away, so there is a small dry chem extinguisher as well. So basically, you got 10 gallons of water, a 12 volt pump. You get about 15 feet of line with a standard garden nozzle, a garden hose nozzle. And I'm going to tell you, this works. And you say, well, 5 gallons, 10 gallons of water isn't a lot. Well, if you have a raging fire, no, of course not. But if you've got like a standard little field fire, you got like a little brush fire, things like that, this will pretty much take care of it. This will also, at a minimum, provide a protective barrier against it spreading. And the plow would come in handy for that too. But at a minimum, this will successfully attack a small woods fire or brush fire. So this setup is very inexpensive and it's also effective. So keep that in mind. The ATV is not inexpensive, but this whole overall setup is very inexpensive, especially depending on where you live. If you're like me, you live in the mountains and you kind of want to have this kind of thing. The plow, not just for snow, but also for maybe a wildland fire or brush fire, field fire, things like that. But this is why this is here just for that reason. As a matter of fact, not too long ago, my neighbor caught the field on fire across the way, and I took this over there. But anyway, so it works. So simplicity makes it easier. It's cost effective and it works. Don't forget that simplicity. You don't need anything expensive, huge, or whatever to do the job. So a little 12-volt pump, lots of hose, 10 gallons of water, chemical extinguisher, the plow on an ATV makes life a little easier when you're potentially involved in a situation like a wildfire, brush fire, field fire, things like that. Anyway, that's it.